Again, Donald Trump added New Mexico to his total as well. So what do tonight's results mean going forward for the general election in November? We're joined now by our own Dick Knipfing and political expert Gabe Sanchez, professor of political science at the University of New Mexico. Gentlemen, what strikes you about tonight's numbers?
Well, let's talk about Clinton first. Solid win for her tonight, Gabe. But earlier, the only poll that we really saw in this race was in February or March, the Journal poll.
That's
right. She was 16 or 17 points ahead. She wins by 6. What was the difference there?
Well, I think I'm not surprised. I was saying 10 points is what I thought it would be. I thought it would be kind of tight. But I think the difference was really that Hillary Clinton has still a ton of name recognition. This really is Clinton country. She didn't have to make a stop in New Mexico. She didn't have a solid ground game. But she did have Bill Clinton, and she used him effectively.
And he came in and helped her, especially up north, and I know he campaigned for her down in Las Cruces. New Mexico doesn't have a long history of electing women to major offices. Governor Martinez really is the first woman governor that we've had. Yet this is historic for her tonight too. For not for her, but for Hillary Clinton, in the sense that you know, she's the first female presidential nominee of a major party, and now she's won in New Mexico as well.
That's right, on either side. And I think I've heard from a lot of our elected officials who are women saying, look, it used to be only the Secretary of State's office. Right. That's what we were relegated to. So I think this is a big deal for the country and for New Mexico. I think it does matter.
All right, Republican side. Now, Trump wins easily. He's unopposed. Everybody else is out of the race. But everybody else got 27% tonight in New Mexico.
That's right. I think it sends a signal to what we might talk about later. What does this mean, big picture, for the general election? And I think for Donald Trump, he has to be looking at it like, look, I was running against nobody, and I still have almost 30% of New Mexican voters saying they want somebody else.
New Mexico GOP already has some internal fractures. We saw that in the fight last month at their convention over the National Committeeman's post. How does Trump kind of get that together and win New Mexico? What does he have to do to win New Mexico?
Well, he's got a lot of work to do, and I think it starts with Governor Martinez. Right. So I think obviously having her on his side hopefully helps, but she's also got some issues internally among the party herself. So I think in many ways the Republican Party here in New Mexico is somewhat of a microcosm of the national scene on the Republican side.
Any way he can heal the hard feelings among New Mexico Hispanics that he's generated with his controversial statements about Hispanics that just keep going on now with the federal judge in California and all of that thing?
I thought there was some hope for that until the federal judge, claiming that anybody who's of Mexican ancestry is biased against him. I don't know how that's possible.
How that's going to work. Well, we'll be back in a little bit because we want to talk about some of those county races. The Republicans didn't have much of a primary in the county races, but they're important county races, and there's that PRC race. So we'll be back in about 25 minutes to talk about some of those.
A lot of action down the ticket.
All right, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you. And as Dick mentioned, we will have an election update coming up in the next half hour. Be sure and stay with KRQE News 13 on air and online for continuing primary election coverage.